What's up, gang? How you guys doing? I'm Lieutenant Sal Blue, and I'm starting off this podcast because have you ever been in a situation where you were trying to get something done, right? Trying to stay on target, stay on course, and there were so many distractions that you just couldn't wrap your head around the topic that you wanted to talk about. Well, that is me today, right? That is me today with Akita, and she is a ball of energy that does not want me to complete what I've began. But I'm a person of resilience, so and patience. So I will stick it out, and I will do what I can. I will get through this podcast, this daily podcast, and I'll see how it turns out, man. I'll see how it turns out one way or the other. I am finishing this podcast, so we're gonna get started here on Spotify, and all you guys on YouTube. Make sure you click the link, subscribe to my top 25 mistakes daily podcast on Spotify, as well as the top 25 mistakes channel on YouTube, so you can get both the video and the audio of all of the mistakes that I've made and some of the things that I'm coming across each and every day when it comes to creating the life of your dreams, right? Living life on your terms. So let's get started with the podcast, man. Here we go. What's up, gang? How you guys doing? I'm Lieutenant Sal Blue, 28-year law enforcement veteran and the author of the top 25 mistakes en route to the good life, coming at you with my daily podcast. That's right, guys. In my daily podcast, all I talk about, guys, is mistakes and how to not make them, right? Because that's what it's all about, guys. Listen, as I talk to people all the time about the mistakes that I've made, and they look at my life and they say, well, you made it through all of that, right? Well, guess what, guys? I know for a fact, right, that a lot of these mistakes that I have made, if they were avoided, I would have been further along in my life, period, right? Now, I say I know for a fact only because that some of these mistakes set me back 10, 20 years. Some of these mistakes set me back, set my life back, right? And a lot of them were my circle of influence set me back. My friendships set me back. My romantic relationships set me back, right? But they also made me into the person who I am today, right? A person who is willing to give value, a person who has not lost his heart for caring for people, and an individual who feels like if I show other people the path to not make the same mistakes I made, they can have a better life. And I believe that's what it's about, man. So it's not about what happens to you, right? Because what happens to you happens to everybody, right? And I'm not saying specifics, but I'm saying things happen in people's lives where it does not go the way they plan. It's things don't happen the way they want. They have made the wrong choices. They have chose the wrong mate. They have chose the wrong friends to be around, right? And they have made the wrong career decisions. Then they have made so many wrong decisions. But it is not what happens to you. It is what you do with the circumstances that are handed to you after you make those bad decisions, guys. And so I have a tendency to look on the positive side of most things, and that's just my nature of who I am. And that's probably because of seeing 28 years of tragic lives crumble in front of me, right? People just throwing their lives away, or people that just have an outright destroyed their lives. When I see it around me, guys, I have a tendency to say, man, my life isn't that bad. And it is when you start to see people at their worst that you begin to appreciate and become grateful for what you currently have. And that is what I'm trying to get out of you guys. I'm trying to squeeze every single drop of gratitude out of your bones so that you guys can realize that now, no matter what circumstance you are dealing with right now, you have a chance to change your life. You have a chance to make your life better. And I'm not talking about you personally just thinking about yourself in a selfish way. Even though I know that that's what most of you guys want, right? You want to get some more things for yourself out of life. But what I'm really talking about here, guys, is your ability to give more value to more people. Because the better you become at yourself, your craft, or whatever your calling is, whatever you're going to master, the better you become at that, the more people you will begin to reach. And the more people you begin to reach, the greater impact you will have on the world and on people. So that is what I'm talking about when it comes to becoming more, right? Not just yourself, but evolving to that individual who you want to live each and every day giving value. That is what you want to do, and that is what you're all about. And the reason why you want to increase yourself, your knowledge, right, your gift, is because of your desire to reach more people. And so, hopefully, as I give you guys my daily podcast and my top 25 mistakes, I will begin to move you toward wanting to give more value, wanting to become more, wanting to be more. Because I believe that if we all begin to give value to one another and each other, we will all rise to levels beyond your belief. And I think the world is going to be changing so much in the next 5 to 10 years that we won't even recognize what this world is like today. So I'm going to throw a little predictor out there and tell you guys that in the next 10 years, the world is going to change dramatically beyond your belief. And this is 2021. So by 2031, you guys will be looking back on this video right here and then listen to this podcast, and you guys will say, oh my, Sal Blue, you're a genius. You knew it. You spoke it. And what I want to tell you guys is that it's not that I'm a genius. It's the fact that it is a natural progression. That when things start to happen, they multiply and accelerate so that eventually they gain a life and a momentum of their own. And that is what I want to talk about today, guys. The question that I have for you guys today is, have you been reducing your powers? Right? Whatever your powers are, have you been reducing your powers by collecting negative thoughts? That's right. We are, as human beings, the collectors of things. Unfortunately, a lot of us collect a lot of negative thoughts and negative information, right? That is why the news is so popular amongst people. Most people watch the news all the time or see the news in some shape, form, or fashion, either on their phones or on their regular television, on their laptops, through the internet. Not too many people are reading anymore on paper. But I'm going to tell you guys, it is so popular because they start off the news negative and they finish off the news negative. And during that entire process of talking about the news, they let you collect tons of negative stories for negative people, and they try to make you guys think that that is the norm. Okay, negativity may be the norm amongst most people, but amongst the high achievers and the successful people, that is not the case. And I want you guys to move out of the crowd of the masses of people who, that is what they love. They just want to hear more negative stuff. And the reason why they want to hear more negative stuff is because they're not doing what it takes to make their life better. Right? And you know the saying, misery loves company, right? So when somebody is doing bad and they're not doing what it takes to make their life better, and they see you doing well, they want to start telling you negative stuff. They want to feed you some negative stuff, let you collect it. Right? Did you hear about such and such? Did you see this that happened the other day? Have you heard what's going on over in Afghanistan? Have you seen what's happening with the Taliban? You know, have you heard about this politician doing this, or Biden doing that, or Trump doing this, right? And they say all of these things that get you all worked up so that you begin to collect this negative information. A lot of people want to find your triggers. So I need you guys to pay attention to what your triggers are before someone else finds them before you do. Right? Now, with your triggers, what they will do is they will know that you have certain triggers. Maybe you love Donald Trump, so they'll say something negative about Donald Trump. You know, maybe you love Biden and Kamala Harris, so they'll say something negative about them and pull you in, right? Maybe they'll say something about blacks, whites, religion, whatever it is, guys. People know your trigger, and they will throw it out there to fish you in, to pull you in, so they can have you begin to collect negative thoughts, right? If you are doing this, guys, if you have been doing this, I would like to encourage you to stop immediately. Stop immediately collecting negative thoughts, right? And here is the reason why, and we'll talk about this, right? It has been proven time and time again by scientists, right? And they've examined our brains, and they've come across a part of our brain called the reticular activation system, right? And in that reticular activation system, you want to know what it does? It attracts more of what we think about, right? So more of what we think about is attracted through our reticular activation system. All right, I see where we are here. More of what we talk about is through our reticular activation system. And when this happens, guys, when this happens, it begins to get out of control, right? You know how, have you ever thought about a car that you wanted, right? Thought about a car that you wanted, and up to that point, you probably never ever saw that car before. And now, everywhere you go, you see that car, right? You see that car in the color that you want, in the style that you want, and you just see it all the time now. But before that, you never even thought about that car until it came across the radar of your reticular activation system. And so when that happens, guys, the same thing happens with negativity. Once that person knows your trigger and they throw that out there at you, you know, maybe they say something about Donald Trump when he was president. He is an idiot, he's stupid, whatever it is, right? And they know that they got your goat now. They got you, right? Or maybe you even agree with it. Either way, it's something negative, right? So now that they have you, all you think about and all you see all the time is stuff about Donald Trump, stuff about the president, stuff about things that's going on that is negative. And they pull you in, guys. Your reticular activation system is going to constantly keep feeding you all of the negative stuff that you think about. And here's what happens when you start to think about negative stuff, right? That first, before I get into that, our biggest enemy, guys, in our fight to have a better life and achieve our goals is something that I call, well, I already talked about reticular activation system, but something I call your environmental destiny, right? Your environmental destiny. Your environmental destiny, guys, is going to determine how your life turns out, because if your environment is filled with a bunch of people, the masses, the normal people, the masses, that always talk about the negative stuff that is going on, and they're always bringing this to you, then you're going to be consumed by that multiplication of negative things. And so that is what happens. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about, guys, real quick, as I get distracted by Akita, who is now in my lap, is our biggest enemy in our fight to have a better life and achieve our goal is something that our closest friends don't know about, and our family doesn't even realize that it's attacking us at the deepest level, right? And that is negative self-talk, guys, right? Negative self-talk is our biggest enemy when it comes to having a better life. And I'll tell you this, guys, and it has happened to me time and time and time again when I have wanted to achieve something that it began to get a little difficult. I began to worry whether I can make it happen, and it started bothering me that I didn't have the skills, or I wasn't able to get the skills fast enough to achieve it. I began that negative self-talk, like, you can't do that, you know. And I did not encourage myself. I talk negative. about the situation or how I was going to achieve it, or maybe I would just told myself, maybe you should just give it up. Maybe you should just give it up and move on to something else that you're better at, right? I would say that to myself, and when I said that to myself, several other things, so many other things started to come around that to assure my mind that that negative thought that I was saying was good, and it tried to reinforce that negative thought, right? So that negative thought, that negative self-talk that I gave myself, that instead of giving myself a pep talk and encouraging myself, that negative self-talk that I gave myself, what it did was it began to blossom into a full-blown episode of me not believing that I can achieve something that I needed to achieve, right? And so that is one of the things that is probably the biggest enemy, because it goes on inside of your mind. And even though you're smiling and you're hanging out and people are talking to you and you're trying to be positive, that negative self-talk can beat you up. And if it continues to manifest itself and continues to grow, eventually the people around you will see it, because it will grow so big, it will manifest itself into you just not achieving that goal and being the negative person that you have built yourself up to be inside your mind. So I want you guys to understand that, and understand that that is a very, very big enemy that we all have to fight against when it comes to creating the life that we want. Okay, so I want to tell you guys this, right? When you engage in this behavior, in the negative self-talk that I'm talking about, when you engage in this behavior of the negative self-talk, only thing you will produce, guys, is negative results. That's it. The only thing you will produce out of all of this is negative results. You can't get positive out of negative, right? When you talk negative, it starts to build up, it starts to multiply, and all of those negative thoughts multiplying all together eventually ends up stopping you from achieving what you want to achieve in your tracks, guys. Literally, it stops you in your tracks. Okay, you either give up altogether, or you build up enough people around you that they talk you out of it, right? Because when you're always talking negative, it attracts more negative, and it attracts the negative people around you that's also going to talk you down about what you're trying to achieve. And all you guys keep yourself in that big, nice, negative bubble. And I don't want that to happen to you guys. I want you guys to understand that that negative self-talk energy begins to manifest itself in your life. So don't do that. The last thing I want to talk about, because obviously this has become a serious moment for me with Akita back and forth. But anyway, now here's a scary thing I want to talk to you guys about negative results. Once they begin to multiply, right, due to, obviously, that's right, our reticular activation system, it is very hard to reverse those negative thoughts. And I want to tell you guys how you can reverse those negative thoughts. You reverse those negative thoughts through environmental exposure, right? Environmental exposure. Environmental exposure is you placing yourself, taking yourself out of where you currently are, and placing yourself in an environment of people who are achieving things at a higher level. So when you get around people that are achieving things at a higher level, what you begin to do is, at first, you begin to feel bad, right? You began that little bout that I went through as well, feeling sorry for yourself, right? You know, why do they have this and why can't I have that? And you know, you go into the whiny part of yourself, right? But if you continually keep yourself submerged in this group of people, they will begin to ask you some hard questions. What are you doing? What are you working on? Okay, and those hard questions begin to start to move you to being more action based than a person who is just talking about what they want to do. And I believe that when you become action based towards your goals, that is when things begin to happen in your life. That that is when you begin to achieve the goals that you have talked yourself out of through your negative self-talk. So that is your environmental exposure. Listen, guys, I got a key all over the place today, but I just wanted to just touch on the negative self-talk because I have heard a lot of people talking that negative self-talk and not creating the life that they want, and then turning around and feeling sorry for themselves. And I don't want that to be you. You can't sit there, talk bad about yourself, inundate yourself with tons of negative self-talk, and then turn around and say, I didn't achieve my goal because I'm not good enough. I didn't achieve my goal because I don't have the skills. I didn't achieve my goal for this, that, or the other reason. No, the only reason that you didn't achieve your goal is because you talked yourself out of it, guys. That's it. You talked yourself out of achieving what you would like to achieve in your life through negative self-talk. So that's it for today, guys. Listen, make sure you guys go on over to lieutenantsalblue.com. Check me out. My website. I'm gonna be giving away my book, Top 25 Mistakes, for $9.95. I'm just asking you guys to pay some shipping. I got a nice upsell. My audiobook as well. Top 25 Mistakes audiobook that I will be getting out to you guys if you happen to do the order form bump, as I like to call it. I also have a course, Top 25 Mistakes course, that I have, as well as, guys, I'm doing one-on-one coaching as well. So you guys have a great evening. Make sure you check me out on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, and all the social media platforms at Lieutenant Sal Blue. Also, guys, hop on over to the Facebook group, Top 25 Mistakes, where second halfers give some transparency to help the first halfers to achieve the life that they want. So that's it for today, man. It was a challenge. It was a challenge with this little pup over here, Akita. Right? And that's just what it is, man. Life is always a challenge, and you got to take it on and be excited about it each and every day, man. So this is Lieutenant Sal Blue, and I will talk to you guys later. You guys have a great night. All right? Deuces. What a podcast today, right? Akita was everywhere. She was a terror. Did not let me get a word in edgewise without her acting out. But that is what it takes sometimes, guys. It just takes you just pushing through each and every day. Each and every day pushing through to achieve your goals and do what you can do when you can do it. All right? So don't quit. Don't negative self-talk. And stop collecting negative thoughts, right? Just stop collecting them. Stop watching the news, right? Get out of that negative circle of influence, okay? And reduce the time you're talking to people who have negative things to say. Reduce the time. And start putting on your headphones and plugging into somebody positive, guys. Pop in my audiobook. It'll inspire you and it will get you going, all right? This is Lieutenant Sal Blue. Talk to you later, YouTube. Deuces.